Hello and welcome to the Nottingham Hockey Centre, the home of the Beeston Hockey Club. Today's visitors are Premier League newcomers, the University of Exeter, who have been handed a pretty tough start to their Premier life, having already met East Grinstead and Surbiton. They were due to play Wimbledon last week, but had a weekend off, as Wimbledon, of course, were involved in the Euro Hockey League over in Barcelona, where I have to say the weather was somewhat warmer and drier than it is here today. The students have picked up 1 point from a highly creditable draw against Surbiton and will be hoping that they can keep that momentum going today. Beeston, having won their first 2 matches, came unstuck against Hampstead and Westminster, making a 3-point haul today pretty much essential to keep up with the early pace setters in what is likely to be a topsy-turvy league season. Those early pace setters are Holcombe and Hampstead and Westminster, who both have 3 wins from their 3 starts to date, and Surbiton, who dropped a point against the University of Exeter and who are on 7 points ahead of Beeston, and Reading now on 6. Early days yet, of course, but the Bees cannot afford any slip up today. They want to keep tabs on that top 2 to make sure no gap develops. It's cold, it's wet, but I'm expecting the hockey to be bright and to keep us all on the edge of our seats. Beeston today without Nick Park and Gareth Griffiths, who've been away with the Great Britain juniors over in Malaysia, and they're on their way back, and we believe tuning in to today with those gold medals around the necks. So well done, boys, on that. A very fine achievement indeed. Graham Griffiths there with his usual sandwich box, going out towards the dugouts on the far side. We're about 15 minutes away from the start of this one. I'm sure you're looking forward to it. We most certainly are.
East Grinstead's first home game of the season is against Beeston. These 2 sides, the highest scoring sides from week 1, both scoring for East Grinstead, conceding just the 1 goal. That gives away the free hit. It's taken quickly. Here is Gleghorn. Gleghorn forward to Proctor. Proctor with just the keeper to beat. Oh, what a finish from Chris Proctor. And Beeston have the lead 16 minutes in. A quickly taken free hit unlocks the EG defence, and it's a great finish. Quickly taken, I think, by Joe Sharp, who finds Gleghorn. 1 touch onto Proctor with the 2nd touch, and how about this for a cool, calculated and superb finish from Proctor. Ball forward defence, it's a heavy touch, and it's a turnover ball. Lovely first time ball from Gleghorn, and on the reverse stick, Gareth Griffiths buries it into the bottom left-hand corner, and Beeston double their lead 3 minutes before the half-time break. Just 1 heavy touch, and then what a couple of passes, and Beeston are in again. That's the first. Gleghorn first time round the corner, and Griffiths with the 3rd touch buries it. Last line of defence. Dixon with a lovely ball, beautifully picked up by Proctor. Ball across, there's the foot. He gets some straight into the body, penalty stroke. Gleghorn against Smith. Smith with plenty of movement, can't pull Mark Gleghorn off. And 3 minutes into the second half, it's East Grinstead 0, Beeston 3, and the visitors are in total control of this one. We see from behind the goal, Smith trying to dummy Gleghorn. Here is Faulkner, and it takes the deflection off Gleghorn and onto the post, and Beeston, well, their goal is surviving here. What a big deflection that is, off the post, onto Hoodrun's kicker. Progressing for their opening goal of this contest. Ball comes forward, full deflection. Hoodrun plays it when he doesn't need to. It's still in the danger zone, and Dixon gets it clear again. Beeston, all hands to the pump to get the ball out of the danger zone. Hoodrun, I don't think, needs to play that, but he doesn't want to take any risks. Comes back into the danger zone, and Dixon gets his stick there first. With the injection. Faulkner with a drag flick! And straight through the legs of Hudran, and Simon Faulkner gets his first goal of the season. And East Grinstead have got 14 minutes to try and get something out of this game as they can. Real power. And Hudran nutmeg by that power. Here is Condon. Possession and a little slip from Sharp, and a chance for Condon and East Grinstead to attack. And an opportunity down the left-hand side. Ball across the face. A goal! Oh my word! Ross Stott on the far post has an open goal, but he can't trap the ball. Great pass across the face. It beat everybody, including Stott. What an opportunity that was. Sharp. Side. Beeston. A chance here for the visitors for another goal. No, there isn't. That is the final whistle, and it's a very good road win for Beeston. They can see their first goal of the season, but they walk away victorious. Final score: ET 1, Beeston 3.
When you succeed,
We succeed.
So we listen.
We tailor. And we invest in you.
We are innovators.
We deliver resorts.
And world-class service.
We are always developing.
Learning and growing.
And getting better at what we do.
Supporting your business.
we make technology effortless.
And more than just a means to an end.
We're the team who serve.
And advise you.
All to help you achieve
And surpass your goals.
We're super.
We're honest.
And go the extra mile.
We're winners.
And team players.
And together,
we're the managed service provider.
We're Air IT.
We're Air IT.
we're Air IT.
You're number one for IT and comms.
I've got the Harvest Pale Ale. They call it the finest blonde beer, so let's give it a try. It's got a nice clean flavour to it, I think. It's crisp and it's refreshing. And that certainly stands out for me.
Absolutely, it's very vibrant colour as well, and it tastes, like you said, quite crisp, and I can imagine drinking that on a nice summer's day, definitely.
I played at the highest level for Holland since I was 17. First you start as a talented little girl and just go and play, and now you really have to carry the team. A lot of the media, they always write things about you, but it's not important. I know what I can do, and the people that I really care about, they always believed in me. And I've always been a fighter. Even when you think you can't go anymore, you just keep on going because of your team. My position in the field is important, but without the others, I'm a no one. Speed is very important. There isn't room for error, actually. It's just me, opponents, and my teammates. You have to give it your all, no mercy. Every competition we play, you just want to win. When you step on the podium, it's just the best feeling in the world. It is hard to dare and dream about winning, but we know if we play well, we can beat anyone.
So the two sides out on the field at this wet and windy Highfields Hockey Centre here in Nottingham, and we're shortly be underway. Beeston up against the University of Exeter, and I mentioned those two gold medalists for the Beeston club, Nick Park and Gareth Griffiths. Also a mention for Duncan Scott of the University of Exeter, also a gold medalist in that Sultan of Johor Cup out in Malaysia. So there's the two team lineups today. Some big names missing from that Beeston team. University of Exeter in their first season, so we're having a first look at some of those players. Sitting alongside me again, I'm delighted to say I've got Steve Musson, who knows everything there is to know about Beeston hockey.
Good
Steve,
afternoon, Nick.
Good afternoon to you, although it isn't, of course, but I'm sure the players will make light of these conditions. An important game for both sides.
I think it is. Obviously, from Beeston's point of view, they want to, as you stated, keep momentum with the top two sides at the moment, Hampstead and obviously Surbiton, Holcombe up there. And so to lose pace at this stage is something they don't want to do. But they're going to have to be very careful today because Exeter will have a lot of confidence out of their point at Surbiton.
That was a great point, wasn't it? Incredible.
Very good indeed. I looked at how they achieved that. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of discipline, quite a bit of man marking, but nevertheless it was a determination on their part. Not many people go down to Surbiton and pick up points.
No, indeed they don't. So we can expect a feisty game, you think?
I think so. I think that certainly looking at the average ages of the two teams, I mean, Exeter's average age is about 19. Beeston's not a lot higher, really, 22. So there's plenty of energy, fitness, athleticism in there. So I would expect it to be pretty quick most of the game. And from Beeston's point of view at the moment, I'm hoping to see them keep on with their quality passing game. Despite the loss last week against Hampstead, some of the play was very good indeed. And if they can keep that standard up, that'll make life difficult for Exeter.
And we've had plenty of rain here this morning. Rain's still falling. You'll see the umbrellas up on the far side when we get a chance to look at the Beeston bank. But the pitch will take it well?
It'll be absolutely fine. It may slightly slow it down if it continues to rain, but I think it'll be absolutely fine, so that won't be an issue.
Right, well, Beeston set to go here, playing in their black tops, black shorts and yellow socks. And the University of Exeter in their white and dark green. So waiting for the signal for our umpires, David Monger and Nick Bennett today, our officials. Studies in orange. So away we go. How much homework have Beeston done on their opponents?
Quite a lot. There's obviously the coaching staff of three, and they've each got different skills, as we've said. James McBlain particularly, we didn't mention last time again in the 7 Oaks fixture. He's a tactical expert, and he spent a lot of time looking at Exeter and the way that they play, particularly because they're going to have to deal with this question of maybe a bit more man marking than usual, and they'll be keen to work out ways of countering that if it's what they need to do.
Yes, James seems to have been around a very long time. Not as long as his father, however, Bob, who was a great servant to hockey, not just in the Midlands, but nationally as well.
He certainly was. And obviously James is a Scottish international and a very good indoor hockey player as well with his years at Loughborough.
Yes.
And he spends a lot of time working with Stephen Wood and Mark Wadsley on the tactical side of the game, and the kit and the gadgets and everything else that you need nowadays to play the game.
You almost need as many people off the field, it seems to me, as you have on it.
Definitely.
A bright start here by Beeston. They've got a free hit just about a metre inside the field of play. opting to play the ball around, getting early touches, getting used to the pace of the pitch. It will be wetter than perhaps they're used to, even after a pitch watering session. The good Lord has looked after pitch watering very adequately, I have to say, today. You can turn it off now, though, if you likes. A few hardy souls over on the bank behind the dugouts there, watching on. You always had great support at Beeston.
We have. I mean, I think it's. I didn't quite know what to expect today with the weather, but it's a fairly decent turnout. So some people have definitely been put off. But it's something we're trying to build, really, through this TV presentation and everything else. It's a case of trying to get as many people interested and watching as possible.
Nicely cut out. That was the Beeston skipper there, getting involved. Dependable Stephen Lawrence. Now, how will the Bees approach the fact they've got so many key players missing today?
It's actually works out very well for the club, really, because it's allowed the opportunity for some of the youngsters to step in, and they've done very well indeed. We talked last time about Henry Croft on the forward line. We've a debut today for Toby Stanley, a youngster 17-year-old who's great talent, and I expect to see him do well, but he's got a chance to play today. And their attention to detail, particularly in training, has been brilliant. So it's been a good start, really, despite the unfortunate loss last week.
Well, it's a good carrot to dangle in front of these youngsters. Lifted ball. To play allowed to go on here. Nice work on the ball there by the university students from Exeter. I'm sure they've done their homework on Beeston as well.
Well, I think bearing in mind their coach David Hacker, with all of his experience, he'll have made sure that they're very well prepared. I'm sure he's one of the reasons why they're doing so well. Attention to detail.
Now we've got a Beeston player down in front of us. I think it's James Blackwell.
And that's Henry Croft, gets his first goal for Beeston. Counter-attack breakaway, and not very much marking going on in the D there. And a very similar situation to one he had last week against Hampstead, and this time he's finished it off.
Lovely early through ball. You have to ask questions about that marking there, Steve.
Definitely, that was very slack. They're going to need to be better than that.
So first blood to Beeston. My attention literally outside our window. Here we've got, is it Blackwell on?
It's Morgan Males is down with.
Oh yes.
I'm not quite sure what's happened here to him, but
medical attention coming across to look at him. The umpires may be delaying the restart here while this.
Despite the fact that this is so close to us, Nick, we didn't really see what happened.
No. He just came across and literally just collapsed on the deck. He's been like that ever since.
He has.
His timing was poor.
Well, there is a doctor in the ground, so hopefully if I get hold of him pretty quickly, we can find out what's happened.
Umpire won't want play to restart because he's certainly not in a place of safety at the moment.
It's Beeston 1, University of Exeter 0. Goal scorer, Henry Croft.
So in many ways the perfect start for Beeston. That'll calm a few nerves down, but once again that Exeter marking at the back was not encouraging from their coach's point of view.
No, not at all. I think that from a coaching point of view, one of the things that we always look for in the first sort of 5 minutes is to see where space is, what the pass direction and the quality is like, movement of teams, and that it's literally 5 minutes in or so has caught Exeter out because they've not recovered to shape. One of the traits they showed down at Surbiton was discipline in getting back into defensive shape, and that was left wanting there.
Well, Croft was very accurate with the shot, beat the goalkeeper, all ends up with it.
He had almost exactly the same situation last week towards the end of the Hampstead game, and he delayed his shot, tried to take the keeper on a bit more, and the keeper made a save. This time he's hit it first time, and the goal is there.
Morgan Males is going to be supported around the touchline. It doesn't look good for him, I have to say. Well, he's just gone over on it. I suspect that's what's happened.
It doesn't look. No, it doesn't look good.
So disappearing just out of our camera's view is the unfortunate Morgan Males with that left ankle kept off the ground, but two firm arms around him. And let's hope it's not as bad as it looks. So Beeston forced into making an early change here, which will reduce the number of interchange options that they have. So away we go again. University of Exeter really do need to settle here. I can only assume their marking against Surbiton was of somewhat higher standard.
Tighter. Yeah. Beeston set their stall out quite nicely, quite good pressing. They just need to make sure that they repossess quickly off Exeter. That's probably one of the best ways to place pressure on an opposition, is to repossess the ball as quick as possible, and that sort of retreat and tackle is a very good way of doing that.
Free hit against Beeston here, just inside the Beeston half of the field. Good aerial ball out to that right-hand side. Beeston looking to break. Exeter defenders right in the faces.
Just a little bit slower hand skills than normal. I think maybe that's the wet sticks, but to keep the intensity good, both teams.
It's a day when you've got to put plenty into the pass as well to make sure it reaches its target. There will be some patches which will be wetter, held a little bit more moisture perhaps than others. Defender's nightmare when the ball slows up and it's coming onto your stick.
It is.
Real battle going on down there. Taken quickly. Beeston left puzzled by the umpire's decision there.
They need to be a little bit careful there and be aware of what's happening. Don't give away a penalty corner unnecessarily.
A lovely pace through the midfield. Good vision too. You see a little lift at the head there, spotting the pass inside. And a very soft penalty corner off an unguarded defender's foot gives Beeston their first penalty corner opportunity of the game and a chance to increase their lead here.
This sort of ball carry is dangerous when it's done positively, and making that connection there just around the 23 is crucial. It's led to the corner in this situation.
Good pace, but the best thing about it for me was the vision. So what can you tell us about Beeston's likely penalty corner setup here?
Well, they've talked at length about making sure that their first flicker is flicking to the keeper's left rather than always down the right-hand side, because we had 6 corners against Hampstead and didn't score from one of them last week, and they all went in the same place, and they've spent a lot of time working on that in practice this week. A couple of moves maybe, an in and out slip, I think this will be flicked straight away.
Down the keeper's left foot side, pretty routine save by the keeper.
Yeah.
Well to control the rebound though, kept it down.
Stephen Wood's been working on this first time passing with the lads, and it's paid off very well, helping us to get out of tight defensive situations and create things around the top of the D. And certainly the work through the midfield as well. Which was a bad example there.
Exeter coming down this left-hand side. Ooh, that's a strange one. The player throwing the ball outside his left foot. That was James Carson. That's the free hit here, which Dan Jackson's looking as if he's going to take. Lovely skills there by Exeter into the circle. they're responding now with a penalty corner throw, and the best possible answer to having come under that early pressure. Good transfer again. Look at the space on that right-hand side.
Too much, yeah. Not really necessary to make a tackle like that. I don't think Stephen Lawrence was still in a good position defensively, so I think that's a bit of a needless penalty corner against.
So Beeston preparing their defence. James Thomas was on the score sheet from a penalty corner against Surbiton. Where's the number 8 shirt? Don't see him down there. Certainly not at the top of the circle. Beeston defenders just a little slow to get back behind the line. They're there now. And that's deflected away. It'll be a long corner. In fact, the umpire's changed that to a penalty corner now after consulting with his colleague. So corner number 2 here for the University of Exeter. Whipped out to the top of the circle. Have a spin inside, and the shot goes wide. Well, that's wasteful again. Good routine though there by the students. Another Beeston player down on his haunches.
James Sutcliffe, I think, has taken one there. Did very well at actually reacting to the slip inside, spin and the slip, and to get in front of that is quite astute, spotting what's happening and making sure that you get in the line.
Takes a certain mindset to do that, I don't always think.
I agree. Simon Hudran spent a couple of special sessions practicing this week on defence in short corners. He was, not that he should have been too concerned, but he was upset at having let one in last week, which was a deflection that went past him, and so he punished himself.
It was a wicked deflection.
It was.
I think it ended up going through his legs, but really you couldn't blame the keeper for it. It was the first runner that took the deflection.
Yes.
The keeper had already made his move to make the save. Good pace down that left-hand side from Beeston again. They're looking lively here.
Spoken about the use of aerials, not just being something to a hopeful ball forwards, but a purposeful pass, and that was quite useful.
So we've had about 11.5 minutes.
Another unnecessary turnover.
Beeston, another penalty corner to defend here. Looking a little bit uncertain and insecure at the back.
You see, these are coming from nothing. That should be really controlled and taken away nice and easily. And the fact that the defender has actually bounced the ball forward and he's not reacted to that and got it under control and tidied things up quickly has led on to this corner.
Well, students haven't made them pay yet, but against some of the more fancied teams in this league, if you give corners away as cheap as this, it's going to hurt you. So Beeston pulling on the equipment again.
It's not very often you go beyond 3 penalty corners without letting one in, so they're in too quick succession for my liking.
So once again the students setting themselves up very deliberately. Out it comes. Hard flick from the top of the circle. Defence has done its job this time. Back in it goes. And Again, the ball going high off the defenders. There'll be yet another penalty corner. These are starting to mount up.
So important in this sort of phase of a game to get your concentration levels really high. The opportunity's there to get out quicker and stop that ball back into the D, and there to be low and pick that up neat and tidy. Little moments that can actually cause so much trouble.
So some anxiety around the Beeston camp with these corners, but so far they've kept a clean sheet. There's late movement at the top of the circle. And this time it's blown in favour of the defence, so Beeston now just need to settle. They take it very quickly. Played out to this right-hand side. Good ball thrown forward there. So Chris Proctor.
This work back now from the forwards is important and well intercepted.
It's grey and it's miserable. The floodlights have been on since before the start of the game. Very necessary today as well. Lovely pick up. Well, Exeter looking a lot more organised in defence than they were in those early stages when they were caught out by Croft's strike, and a lovely ball through to him as well. First time ball, the idea was good, execution not quite there.
Beeston have been using the pass into the midfield quite well to change the angles and create opportunities to feed into the midfield, out of the midfield, and rotate one side or the other. So that's a few good attacks. Just that final ball. But Exeter dealing with it quite well at the moment.
Back into the circle and out again. Nice crispness about the passes.
Exeter arrived in the Premier League by virtue of wins against Oxted and Sevenoaks in the playoffs, and their university form as well tells you that they're a good side, and it's not going to take a lot for them to get back in this if Beeston don't concentrate on their defensive work.
No, Beeston will need no further reminder of those flurry of corners that could well have seen an equaliser. On the balance of play that we've seen thus far, you have to say Beeston slightly fortuitously finding themselves in the lead, but in the lead they are, and they're on the way to what would be 3 very important points, but a long way still to go in this one. What was the general consensus last week? Well beaten, or?
I think that the view was that we played quite well. Again, as we said earlier, I think it was finishing. We were very competitive with Hampstead, but of course the ever-present Quan Brown made a big difference for them. And Rupert Shipperley, who I think is a great player, and he was a nuisance scoring their opening goal. Very busy.
Well, I had a long look at the league table last night and again this morning, and this weekend's results I think will be very interesting, because it's sort of league table could easily break into 2.
Yes,
and it's essential that you stay with that top group.
That's right.
You want to finish in the playoff positions.
The Reading result last night against East Grinstead showed that.
Indeed. Yes, indeed it did.
Divided the league a bit.
And currently, the team at the very bottom, the team I was watching last week in Barcelona, Wimbledon.
Yes, yeah. I remember last year they started off slowly and ended up topping the league.
Yes.
They'll be keen to get back into winning ways. They're playing Holcombe today,
They are.
so that'll be tricky.
And there may be some reaction, of course, to their disappointments of Barcelona. They were competitive, but just in a very difficult group, just outdone in the end.
Yes, yeah.
Just came up short.
And of course their focus prior to that would have been on that. Affected their league a little, league performance a little.
Absolutely. Several players missing through injury and unavailability.
Yes.
A little bit light in numbers in the squad as well. Not much going in their favour. They made light of those. They weren't using that as an excuse.
No. That's one thing I quite like about hockey as a sport, really. It doesn't make excuses for situations like that. Everybody knows that players are missing for teams for one reason or another, and often positive reasons. And everybody else gets on with it. And it does allow, as we said earlier, the opportunity for youngsters to get to play in big competitive matches at an early point in their career, which has got to be a good thing.
It has. And sitting on the bench is one thing, and perhaps getting occasionally 5 minutes in games that have already been decided, but playing in a cut and thrust National League game like this one, all part of your education.
It is. Little moments like that, that's this trap there, could have led to all kinds of trouble, and it's those little bits of focus that are so important.
I was talking last week in Barcelona with a former Beeston player, Adrian Locke.
Oh yes.
About we were discussing where English club sides have got to go to be regulars in the final four of something like the Euro Hockey League. Not there is much like the Euro Hockey League, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
And we came down to the conclusion it's actually the basic skills, the control of the ball.
Yes.
Something as fundamental as that, but perhaps we're just a little bit short.
It's something that Stephen Wood's been working on with this bunch of lads for the last 4 or 5 weeks. Some of it's paying off, but it does mean that you spend a lot more time on the basics than you perhaps do on the tactical stuff with the limited amount of training that you can put in.
Well played by Beeston, finding the defender's foot, so they've got another penalty corner here. A chance to increase their lead. I hear what you say, Steve, but with the greatest respect, when the players get to this level, it's almost too late.
Yes,
The grounding of those basic skills need to be when the players are 7, 8,
yes.
9, in the junior schools, the prep schools, the junior sections of clubs.
Yes,
and, you know, I've been a school marshal, I know what it's like. I know kids don't like, you know, routines and core skills. And they prefer to play the game always, but without those core skills it's difficult to play the game well.
That's right, and I think that's the difference, because when you see youngsters in Holland and Germany and Belgium now as well, they've got those skills at an early age.
So penalty corner here for Beeston. Corner number 2 for them. First one went down the keeper's left foot side. He made a pretty routine save. Not this time he doesn't, though. And it's
Elliot Tybal.
One that the keeper, I think, will probably think he should have done a little bit better. But Hybel has given Beeston a 2-goal lead and showing the students how to take a penalty corner. Nice and simple. Wasn't right in the corner.
Well, we discussed at length after last weekend the need to be able to get that flick away to the other side. Often teams try to defend with certainly a postman, runners that cut off that side of the goal. But the decent flickers can find a way to get the ball that side of the goalkeeper, and that's paid off.
Well, out of all those corners for the University of Exeter, they are made to pay, not converting one of their own. be a long half, this one, but partly because I'm used to quarters from last weekend. Beeston come on the attack again. Keeper's out of position, and the simplest of tapping goals. And Beeston are really flying here.
Elliot Heibel again from a lovely layoff pass from Richard Lawrence.
Well, the conversion was the easy bit, but it was a beautiful pass. Poor trap there.
Exeter should have tidied that up.
Again, questions about the marking, but a pass across at the highest standard there. Keeper completely taken out. So 2 goals in, what, a minute for Elliot Heibel there. And it's looking good for Beeston now. At 1-0, it was very much in the balance. Surely now the points are decided. Still a long way to go, but it's a long way back from here for the University of Exeter.
Elliot Heibel's a very good hockey player, and he's had an awful injury list over the last 18 months. He suffered a concussion, which was repeated, and that kept him out. He was looked at by doctors a number of times before they allowed him to play, and then he broke his thumb, and he's only just recovered from that. So it's nice to see him playing.
Well, he's on a hat-trick now, and those 2 goals have come in very, very quick order for him. And have completely changed the complexion of the scoreline here. And Beeston playing with a degree of confidence now that was beginning to look a little bit in doubt. We've got about 11 minutes left in this this first half here. Exeter certainly need a goal back before half-time, you feel, which gives them some sort of foothold in the game.
I was just about to sing Chris Proctor's praises there, because he's had a great 3 opening matches of the season for the club, and really is performing, and then he does something like that.
Yes, he scored in the last 2 games as well, by looks of things. Against Hampstead, he was the only goal scorer, and he
was
netted against East Grinstead as well.
I think Stephen Wood will be quite pleased with this. I think the passing looks good, the possession looks good. A few turnovers in the midfield, which I think he'll want to tidy up at half-time. And I think sometimes they're going to need to stay out of range a bit more of the defender. There's another example. I know that's gone to Robbie Gleeson, but he could have made that much neater and tidier.
Good early ball forward. Exeter visibly rocked by those 2 goals from Heibel. It really was the old 1-2.
Some interesting alumni from University of Exeter, Nick, players that you will have known from the past. I was looking down the list. The Nick Brothers from Reading,
absolutely,
Great
yes.
Britain. He was at University of Exeter. Varian Papin.
Yes. Yes.
Number 2 to Ian Taylor, 1988.
8 seconds on the field for an Olympic gold medal.
That's right. Yeah. And there seems to be a hatload
Great
of Carsons
character
there as well.
Yes. Great character, Varian Papin.
Yes.
Lovely man. Spent an awful lot of time sitting on the bench for GB, watching Ian Taylor's heroics.
He did.
Never lost his enthusiasm or his support of the team. And it was lovely that Roger Self and David Whittaker were able to get him onto the pitch for those crucial last few seconds. In those days, if you didn't get on the pitch, you didn't get a medal.
That's right.
And they knew what was at stake. And they knew what Papin had put into the team's preparations.
Yes.
Wonderful new book has been brought out, written by Rod Gilmore, He must have been, well, if he was born when the gold medal was won, I'd be surprised.
Yes.
But, it's a wonderful tribute to a wonderful group of players, and it's the first time I've really seen the manager, Roger Self, the late Roger Self, given full credit for what he did out there.
Yes.
Changing the whole mindset of Great British hockey. Sort of stuff that the youngsters are continuing out in Malaysia, or have been continuing out in Malaysia.
That's right.
Seem to be taken to heart.
Despite the conditions that none of them can be used to, they've done extremely well.
Yes, they have. They're very difficult conditions out there. We think it's wet here. When it rains out there, my goodness, it rains.
Yes.
Calling for the lifeboats.
We were saying earlier that Dan West, who scored for GB in the final, is the son of Ali West of Doncaster Hockey Club fame, where Barry Middleton emanated from all those years ago.
Yes. Yes, they're a good side, my goodness. Particularly indoors, as I recall.
Yes, they were.
A few of the other northern sides, Welton being a classic example, also very,
Yes.
very talented indoor and out, but particularly indoors. It's hard to believe the National League is now 30 years old, and you think back to some of the clubs that were around. You have to ask the question, what's happened, where they've gone.
Yes, yeah.
But, a lot of them still around. You just have to look a little bit lower down the league tables.
Hunt around for them a bit, don't you?
You do. You do. Good early ball fed down the touchline. Exeter just trying desperately to get some moves together. Just a little out of sorts at the moment.
It's little moments like that that I think Exeter will want to improve at. They're pressing, and their high forward on the left-hand side is very easily beaten, and that actually spoils it for everybody else trying to get the press right.
Well, it's going to be a season for consolidation. Key thing for them is that they stay in the division. It's always difficult for a university side with constant churn of players, of course.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know whether this particular side is an open club. I know some of the universities allow players to stay on as alumni, and
I think most of them are current students, aren't they?
Students, yeah.
There are quite a lot of university sides in the conference leagues now. Well, there's obviously Exeter in the Premier League, and there's 3 in the west and 3 in the north.
Yep.
Of course, Durham beating Nottingham University yesterday.
And then you've got clubs that are amalgamated with universities as well, like Brooklands, Manchester University.
Brooklands, Manchester, yes.
Nice work again in the circle. Keeper's gone to ground. David Monger umpiring at that end. I think the heaviest of the rain has eased off. I don't see any signs of those umbrellas coming down, Steve.
No, I think it's still raining.
We're okay. I think if you can put another log on the fire at half time, that'll be absolutely fine. Hard to imagine for you at home to imagine the opulence of our commentary box, but think leather Chesterfield sofas and roaring oak fires, and you're way off the mark.
I understand it's better than the perch that you had last weekend.
It's a very different perch. I feel more secure on this one. Having taken one for the team last week through the floorboards. Being a natural athlete, I was able to hang on.
You bounced back quickly.
Sort of. Plenty of padding. Well, time running out for Exeter here if they are going to get a goal back before half time.
Number of attempts at long balls from Beeston have been quite easily picked off. I think they need to improve that. There's nothing wrong with long ball passes, but they need to make them much more accurate than that.
A good player behind the Beeston defence here. Ball played across, first time shot coming in, and Simon Hudgman, who was making ground to his right, just able to check his movement there and make the save. Looks a very accomplished goalkeeper, I have to say.
I think we talked about his attention to detail a couple of weeks ago when against Sevenoaks, and certainly he's been upset at just even having let in 3 goals. He's not happy with that, so his work rate has gone up.
You may have heard this week the Welsh goalkeeper David Kettle announced his retirement from hockey. What a wonderful servant he's been for clubs and country. Lovely, lovely man as well. Welshman through and through. Very proud of his Welsh caps. Well over 100 now. But calling it a day to concentrate on his career. Nice work. Less than 2 minutes for Beeston to see off the students before half time here. That very comfortable looking 3-goal cushion now. Wasn't particularly comfortable at 1-0.
It took them a while to deal with that awkward patch, didn't it, really? And
it did.
They seem to be quite in control now, but again, this is a stage when the better sides can actually go on and win quite convincingly, and they don't want to drop their standards. And from Exeter's point of view, of course, they'll want to fight back, because a goal in this stage of a game can make a big difference.
Huge difference, absolutely huge difference.
They nearly had one a moment ago, and I'm sure there'll be other opportunities.
There won't be many in the minute that remains there in this first half. They might get one here.
There we go.
Keeper's come a long way, and he had to leap high in the air. Very good save indeed. A flying stick there was James Carson coming in.
A little bit reminiscent of Chris Proctor's goal against East Grinstead a couple of weeks ago. Slightly closer in, but at least Simon Hudgman was up for that.
Did very well. It would have been a great goal, and the timing would have been absolutely perfect. Exeter University, coached by David Hacker, another great Welshman, of course.
Great Britain, 2000 Olympics,
GB, yep. And if my memory serves me correctly, a regular player with in the colours of Hounslow.
He was. And a bit of time at Firebrands as well, when we were coming through the leagues.
Very, very competitive. On the field, and very good company offered.
Yes.
Always used to find. Very good indoor player as well.
He was, yes.
So we've reached half time here, and Beeston are in the driving seat. They lead against University of Exeter by 3-0. And during half time, we'll be playing out the highlights for you, and we'll be back the other side of the highlights and our advert break.
Made sure that they're very well prepared. I'm sure he's one of the reasons why they're doing so well. Attention to detail.
Now we've got a Beeston player down in front of us. I think it's James Blackwell.
And that's Henry Croft, gets his first goal for Beeston. Counter-attack breakaway.
Through the midfield. Good vision too. See a little lift of the head there, spotting the pass inside. And a very soft penalty corner off an unguarded defender's foot, gives Beeston their first penalty. So we've had about 11.5 minutes.
Another unnecessary turnover.
So once again the students setting themselves up very deliberately. Out it comes. Hard flick from the top of the circle. Defence has done its job this time. Back in it goes. And again, the ball going high off.
With this bunch of lads for the last 4 or 5 weeks. Some of it's paying off, but it does mean that you spend a lot more time on the basics than you perhaps do on the tactical stuff with the limited amount of training that you can put in.
Well played by Beeston, finding the keeper's left foot side. He made a pretty routine save. Not this time, he doesn't though. And it's
Elliot Tybal.
One that the keeper, I think, will probably think he should have done a little bit better. Seems to be a long half, this one, but partly because I'm used to quarters from last weekend. Beeston come on the attack again. Keeper's out of position, and the simplest of tapping goals. And Beeston are really flying here.
Elliot Tybal. Made sure that they're very well prepared.
When you succeed,
We succeed.
So we listen.
We tailor. And we invest in you.
We are innovators.
We deliver results.
And world-class service.
We are always developing.
Learning and growing.
And getting better at what we do.
Supporting your business.
we make technology effortless.
And more than just a means to an end.
We're the team who serve.
And advise you.
All to help you achieve.
And surpass your goals.
We're super.
We're honest.
And go the extra mile.
We're winners.
And team players.
And together,
We're the managed service provider.
We're Air IT.
We're Air IT.
we're Air IT.
You're number one for IT and comms.
I've got the Harvest Pale Ale. They call it the finest blonde beer, so let's give it a try. It's got a nice clean flavour to it, I think. It's
Definitely.
crisp and it's refreshing. And that certainly stands out for me.
Absolutely, it's very vibrant colour as well, and it tastes, like you said, quite crisp, and I can imagine drinking that on a nice summer's day, definitely.
played at the highest level for Holland since I was 17. First you start as a talented little girl and just go and play, and now you really have to carry the team. A lot of the media, they always write things about you, but it's not important. I know what I can do, and the people that I really care about, they always believed in me. And I've always been a fighter. Even when you think you can't go anymore, you just keep on going because of your team. My position in the field is important, but without the others, I'm no one. Speed is very important. There isn't room for error, actually. It's just me, opponents, and my teammates. You have to give it your all, no mercy. Every competition we play, you just want to win. When you step on the podium, it's just the best feeling in the world. It is hard to dare and dream about winning, but we know if we play well, we can beat anyone.
Many thanks to our juniors. Thank you for Thanks to Buzz, and thanks to the juniors for keeping us entertained at half-time. Second half coming very soon. The start of the second half is almost upon us. Welcome to Advertisements, University of Exeter. And of course,
Welcome back then to the Nottingham Hockey Centre. We're at half-time, as you can see from your screen there. It's Beeston 3, University of Exeter 0. Goals for Beeston scored by Henry Croft as early as the 4th minute, and then midway through that first half, Elliot Heibel, first of all with a penalty corner conversion, and then within a minute an open play goal, finishing off an excellent Beeston move, making it 3-0 at the break. The students from Exeter had their moments, mainly from a little clutch of penalty corners, but they couldn't find the routine to trouble Simon Hudgwan in the Beeston net. So Beeston looking comfortable at the break, but they'll be looking, Steve, for more of the same in the second half. They want to take their foot off the gas here.
No, I think that Stephen Wood will be particularly keen to see them cut down the number of travelling turnovers in the middle of the park that they've been making. He'll probably want them to attack with a bit more width, probably down the right-hand side as well. It'll be a bit tidier in defence when they've made satisfactory tackles against the Exeter forwards. They need to come out a bit more tidily. And I think from Exeter's point of view, they're going to have to press, and they need to make that press effective. And I'm sure David Hacker will have talked about that. If they're going to get back into this game, they're going to need to, in my opinion, score the next goal. So they need to press in a quality way and get some decent ball in the last third of the pitch.
Yes, I think that word quality was something that the Beeston management will be calling for as well, making sure they keep their personal standards high throughout the entire game. Hacker is a very experienced player and very well respected coach as well, but he'll be realistic enough to know that his student team here were always going to find life tough at Beeston, whichever team Beeston have been able to field, and so it is proved. I don't think it's been a question of giving Beeston too much respect, because the students themselves have had their moments in the game. They've been given a bit of a lesson in terms of how you take your opportunities when they present themselves.
And to be honest, Nick, Beeston have struggled with that themselves. Even up to this year, we have struggled to convert good chances into goals and winning positions, and because it's not easily done, and you have to be good as a hockey player, as a forward, to make sure that your finish moves off in a quality way, a little bit like Elliot Hybel did. And it's difficult for a side coming into the Premier League to be able to do that straight away.
Indeed it is. The secret is, can you stay there long enough to gain the experience?
So that's that right side attack that's led to a corner, which I'm sure Stephen Woods tried to encourage them to do for the second half.
Well, again, it was rather a soft one. Let's watch it again here. Started with a sideline ball. Pace around the outside.
There's Richard Lawrence again, who, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, has improved immensely in the last 2 or 3 years, and learning how to win corners is one of those areas he's got better at.
Out it comes. Big early deflection, to be a long corner this time, off the runner's stick. So Beeston quickly into their second half stride here. Played to this left-hand side. Clever little ball down the touchline. Played by James Sutcliffe. Ball going to... Oh! Well, that's a... Didn't belong in this sport.
No, that's a beautiful shot.
Talking about hitting it out of the park. Well, I'm obviously happy it was controlled, and clearly it was high enough not to be dangerous. This is a softball player.
He's done well with that pass down the line. It was only an inch away from the sideline.
Again, Beeston working that right-hand side. Fired across the circle.
Now, those are the sorts of crosses that I'd like to see more energy from the Beeston forwards on, because it's quite clear where it's going, and to see it just wander out the far side of the D is a bit of a waste.
Nicely taken down, but unable to keep it in play. Sideline ball taken very quickly. Beeston's thinking is just a little bit sharper
It's
than
quite
the
good.
students as well. First to the ball consistently. Always difficult when you're at the wrong end of a score line to keep your concentration and your focus.
And it can be awkward to work out a way back in as well. Do we really commit? Do we take our time? Have we still got time to wait and be patient? And those are the questions that go through coaches and players' minds in situations like this.
Well, they've certainly got the time, that's not a
They
fact.
have.
It's a question whether they can find some composure in the circle and finish off one of the chances. Their best efforts so far really have been from the penalty corners, at least their best chances. I'm not sure they've used those corners particularly well yet. Well, I'd like to say it had brightened up weather-wise over half-time, but as you can see, the umbrellas are still up over there. It is better than it was at the start. The floodlights and our cameras making light of the conditions, but pretty unpleasant.
Nice control until that moment.
Well, we gather the Great Britain Junior squad are watching our coverage from out in a hotel in Singapore, and I think I'd not be alone in wishing the team a safe journey home and offering our congratulations from all involved at
Very
BTV. Wonderful effort. Gosh, they must be missing this weather.
Oh, I'm sure that's
The poor chaps. Oh, Beeston just sitting off a little bit here, allowing University of Exeter a little bit of possession. As they break into the Beeston half of the field, they step up their level of interest just a little.
Just on that tournament, Nick, I understand that Ollie Payne was given the best goalkeeper of the tournament award as well. So I think that's worthy of applause as well.
Another accolade. Winning can become a very useful habit to get into as well.
Yes.
Great confidence must be running through the group.
Getting an accurate pass there has led to a turnover, and these are the things that Beeston certainly need to be tidy about.
Good work by the students,
Excellent.
and they've rewarded with another penalty corner. Now, Steve, they need to find one of these and get back in the game via a goal.
This is that moment now for University of Exeter, because they've done well to win possession there. They've connected well. They've made a lovely inside pass there, and the skill there to win the corner is deserved. And this is the moment they need to really concentrate on this. And equally, from Beeston's point of view, they need to make sure that they're set, ready, and are going to work very hard on their running lines to stop this.
Will Carter Keir looks as if he's going to be one of the stoppers. Alongside him is the second Castle, Dan Jackson. James Carson crouched over his stick. The nearer of the two Castles. Out it comes. Shot comes in, good save by Hudgman. Saw it early and made sure he wasn't going to be embarrassed down his right hand side there. Made it look easy.
I think the height was nice for him for the save. Exeter a nice patch of possession here. They could create something out of this. It's the time to do it. And there's a missed pass, so that's unfortunate for them.
Those little unforced errors that really do chip away at your confidence. You work so hard to get on the ball and given away so cheaply. Good early ball, a little bit of a missed trap there from Beeston. Chris Proctor down the left hand side.
Did well to win that back.
Gleeson with a free hit here, just sizing it up. Ball fired crossfield. I'm sure the Beeston coaching team will be wanting more from their team. They don't want this second half just to drift.
Definitely, they need to make sure that they're just as clinical. And there's an example of, again, an unnecessary turnover, and now there'll probably be a card.
Might be a card. He's on the way already. It's just a question of the colour. Kyle Marshall there. It was clumsy rather than
yes,
malicious.
it was.
Beeston down in numbers. Nice work.
You thought that was the back of the stick?
We see a lot of those picked up nowadays. The umpires are doing a lot of work on that particular bit of skill. Hooper. Fires one into that Beeston circle. Solid defending at the expense of a long corner. Brunel takes it, plays it back, keeps possession. Gleeson again caught in possession. Robbie Gleeson at the top of his circle, he's got the free hit.
They seem to have slowed down when they've received the ball. They've gone into slow mode, which is a no help at all at this phase of the game. Well, committing a lot of fouls, stick tackles and untidy turnovers.
This is the sort of game where a team really on its game would be pressing on and would.
They would. That's right. They would.
6, 7,
yes.
Even more away. They've got their opponent in a bad place. They just need to keep them there. But it's not been a very high quality second half so far. That can all change in a moment though.
He's battled away for Elliot Hybels battled away for a corner there, penalty corner.
Hybels putting down a marker for a possible man of the match, I thought. Some good contributions from him. 2 goals, of course. Always catches the eye. A bit of a buffeting there. Just nice little bit of 3D skill over the top of the defender. And again onto the foot.
It's nice to see somebody like Elliot getting on the score sheet, because we've got a varied number of scorers now with Henry Croft and Gareth Griffiths and John Proctor, and you need that. You need 4 or 5 players capable of scoring goals, not just the forwards, midfield players as well.
I agree. Nick Park has also scored.
Nick Park scored,
Richard
yes.
Lawrence. And a promising youngster called Mark Leghorn.
Yes.
Looped off the defender's body. It'll be another penalty corner here.
Number 1 runner's getting out very quickly. Richard Lawrence quite slow on the ball there, but maybe he saw the best chance was to get a rear ward of a corner. But
might have come out a tad slowly.
I think it did.
It's Dan Jackson who's the flyer from the line. Deflected wide. It wasn't too far wide though, was it? That
wasn't,
was
no.
Much better routine. Again, looking to keep his left foot side. You've had a real influence on this game.
Oh, I certainly have. Yes, that's right. It was last week. It was so noticeable that they needed to change where they were flicking. And of course, who knows what they might do next week?
Well, I was just thinking, you don't give too much away, do you? Well, thank you for that. But there are a few secrets in the game nowadays with cameras at most of our games. And a very studious group of coaches as well, poring over the footage, trying to gain a little advantage.
Ultimately, it's down to the execution by the player, the players, the team, the coaches. Good passing.
Beeston just trying to inject a little bit more tempo into the game, you feel, having had a rather dreamy start to the second half. Harley mentioned Nick Bennett, the umpire on that far side. I always think that's a good sign when you're not mentioning the umpires.
That's right, yeah, they've seem to have done a satisfactory job so far.
What damn with faint praise that was, wasn't it? Yeah. Done a good job. Good job. Still time though, umpires, to get it all wrong, and we'll be on your case if you do. Well challenged.
Yeah, it must be interesting for them knowing that it's all being watched, saved, stored, analysed, not just the players.
Well, I remember when umpire umpires used to be watched by a solitary selector every now and again.
Yes.
And that used to put them into a fit of the heebie-jeebies. It's like having the cameras on, you've got
Yes.
your nose, but I think it's a bit like playing. If you can't cope with the pressure of the modern game and a big crowd perhaps behind you and a TV audience as well, analysing your every decision, then you're probably in the wrong job.
Yes.
Great to see some of Europe's young umpires coming through.
Definitely.
Last week in the Euro Hockey League. Terrific. Umpires development programme graduation as well. Without the umpires, there is no game.
That's right. And with the speed of the game as well, they need to be fit and athletic and mobile.
Yep, and yeah, very much so. And they are regularly to pass their fitness tests. Each one out of defence. Just a bit untidy on the halfway line here. Beeston moving away quickly. Long corner. Good umpiring there, allowing the advantage.
They need movement in the D here. It's very static. They've got the corner, that's fine, but just in terms of trying to score an open play goal there needs to be a lot more room and certainly space in the D.
James Carson furious that penalty corner has been given against him. Not happy with that one.
It's not far enough away to have stepped out and made the tackle, and that's given the corner.
Beeston's huddle. He might be about to phone a friend on this one. They've made their mind up.
For anyone concerned about that corner there, the rule being that from the position where the free hit was taken, the defender has the right to stand close there, but he can't close the gap down until the ball's been put back into play. As he ran straight towards, he gave the fence.
Good slip. Well taken off the line by the defender again, searching down that left channel. Keeper's left foot channel. Did you mention they may try another tactic as well?
Yes, they've worked on other things which I'll whisper to you.
That's a loose clearance by the keeper again.
This may be the one.
If Simon Mason was here, he would give you an in-depth analysis of the keeper's technique.
Yeah, he would. Not too difficult to analyse that one.
No, I don't think so. That was very upright with a goalkeeping, leaning back, weight all wrong. Yep.
I like that effort at the quick push rather than the backswing and a hit. It nearly worked, but it wasn't quite enough power on it, but it did lead to the corner.
Well, Beeston had early success with the penalty corner, but it hasn't been desperately effective since then. Can they change that little run here?
It's another one wide. The cardinal sin when flicking a short corner should be on target every time.
So while the scoreline is suiting Beeston, there'll be a few notes, I'm sure, being made by the Stephen Wood and Waddesley and McBlain triumphant to improve on things. Plenty to do to get a little more commercial, a little more sharp around the pitch, and to eradicate some of these mistakes. I don't think it's going to hurt them today, but in the tight games that are to follow, I think they've got some cracking games coming up. Of course, they need to be on their mettle.
Well, 2 weeks' time, Surbiton here on a Saturday evening. The Oktoberfest, as it's been called, on the 27th of October. Ladies playing at 4 o'clock and the men at 6.
Well, they're a great double header. And a rare Saturday outing for the gentlemen.
It is, yeah. Advertised as hockey, beers and sausages.
Not necessarily in that order for some. Quickly.
Another loose pass, poor pass in field and not ready from the forward. Youngster who will learn about that sort of move to help his colleague out of that situation, but again it's a breakdown of a potential counter-attack.
Well, the experience that these youngsters are gaining today, they're filling in for some big names in the hockey world, will be invaluable. Beeston almost getting sucked in again.
I've not been troubled too much by these Exeter attacks, but on the other side of the equation, the way in which Beeston have escaped from defence has not been of sufficient quality for my liking. It needs to be a lot tidier. Maybe this will be the one.
No, it's been a careless second half performance, far from perfect. Most things have gone Beeston's way, but it's not been an ideal performance in many respects. And a strange start to the game with that unfortunate injury to Morgan Mills, and we've
yes.
not heard how he is, but it didn't look good as he was escorted away. And I'm sure he'll be having an X-ray on that ankle, make sure that no serious damage. We wish him well, of course. And almost immediately taking the lead. Pretty much in the same moment, in fact.
Yes.
Good solid
right.
low.
Now come on, let's get some
tackle
quality
there.
into this.
Game just drifting a little, as I fear that it might. That's better from Beeston. Trying to work this space for the shot. Not this time.
Nice pick up, the turn and shot, not so good.
Just over 10 minutes then left in this one. Beeston 3, University of Exeter 0, just as it was at half-time.
There's that ball into the midfield, central midfield player again. I think that's got to be dealt with better than that by Exeter, because it just causes a turnover and a potential D, move into the D.
David Hackett will be pleased the way his team have responded in the second half. It would be easy for them to come out after half-time and probably seeing the game already over, allowing those heads to drop and their game to deteriorate. But they've dug in. I think slightly aided and abetted by a slightly off-colour Beeston who've not gone
certainly in the second half. That's
a little bit sleepy.
But it's as we were saying when Sevenoaks, when we were here a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks ago, Sevenoaks' resilience despite an awful season was great to see. Not becoming downhearted, understanding that the games were going to be hard and that they would take some beatings, but learning.
Yes, and we've talked about the league possibly dividing into two. And we heard that at half-time Hampstead and Westminster were ahead in their game again today, so it looks as if they're heading for 4 wins from 4. Beeston's 3 points today, and I think we can almost nail those points on the board for them now. Will keep them very much in contention as well. But at the other end of the table, it's equally competitive, and points are going to be very, very hard won and very, very precious. This was a tough beginning to the season for University of Exeter. They might have hoped for slightly easier first few fixtures.
It'll be interesting to see the Holcombe Wimbledon results as well, to see.
Pointless Wimbledon at the moment.
Nothing fundamentally wrong with University of Exeter's shape and passing, just that technical ability over the 23, attacking 23, to create a bit more than they have.
Yes, I think I'd be raising question marks about some of their defensive marking, particularly early in the game.
Yes.
Certainly ask questions about the goalkeeper's role in a couple of the goals as well, although in truth he has not been given a huge amount of protection at times. Huge aerial thrown off the wrong foot there. Nice bit of skill on the ball. Always been a strong hockey university, Exeter.
It has. I think haven't they been in the top 2 of the university competition since 2011 or something of that sort. So
I think it is something like that. We can go back to the days when we had a PE college down there, St Luke's.
St Luke's, that's right.
Very, very strong college. Had a few battles down there over the years.
You know, we sometimes talk about how the coaches would feel about a scoreline like this and the fact that they obviously want more goals and to improve the goal difference. But from a player's point of view as well, if it was me, I'd be frustrated thinking that we're not connecting well enough to give us a 4th and a 5th goal. And that's got to be a disappointment for players as much as it has for the coaches.
I think the second half has just been a bit of a damp squib in every century, but it can all change. Not with a pick-up like that, though. Just over 5 minutes remain now. Beeston pressing on, trying to give the crowd something to go home with for their second half efforts. One or two of them might be thinking could have gone home at half time.
Yes.
Just come out again. Not in pole position exactly, but kept it out. That's all that matters.
Not strong enough on the ball there, whoever that was. I couldn't quite see that. I think it might have been Richard Lawrence, but chances here to get another goal, but really a bit more focus and concentration in the D. There we go.
Pressure on the circle again here. Ball bouncing around. Keeping's done well.
Penalty stroke.
Penalty stroke given here. Well, the Exeter player can't believe the decision there. Hopefully we have a chance to look at this one again. Yes, here we go. Nice movement of the ball. Keeper somewhat spread-eagled. What do you reckon, Steve?
I can't see clearly what that is, whether that's a foot or whether he's actually committed a foul with his stick. I can't tell. I can't see closely enough, but
Well, this is Chris Proctor on the penalty spot here. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Well, not much you can say about that to make it better for Chris Proctor. Just about sums up the second half.
I think it does, yeah. That's again a possible concentration on that and making sure that you get that right.
Mark Gleggall would be the normal Beeston stroke taker.
He would, yes.
Did I see him miss one?
He scored against East Grinstead. That was his first goal this year.
Right.
So no, he's not missed this season. 1 from 1, 100%.
That's not bad. I'll take that.
Yes.
Beeston finishing strongly here. Still looking for the second half goal. Students for the first time, just looking a little bit leggy perhaps.
You've seen the Surbiton score over there. Nick just handed to us. 7-2 versus Brooklands.
That sounds a goal fest. Good win for Surbiton ladies yesterday as well, just as it was for Beeston ladies.
It was.
In their first win of the season.
Bit of a humdinger, I gather, the ladies' game yesterday, the bits I saw.
4-3?
4-3. Head all the way through, but it was close for the last 4 or 5 minutes, I think, at 4-3. Lifted them to 5th in the league.
Very
in
respectable.
their first season, so it's a decent start so far. See, Wimbledon's woes are continuing as well, Nick. 2-0 down to Holcombe.
Oh gosh, that won't improve their demeanour after last week. But it's clearly going to be a difficult league table to read.
It is.
And there'll be many twists and turns along the way.
Holding Simon Hudgwan.
Keeper's down, but he's still active, as you can see there. Long corner. Good goalkeeping. He's not had much to do.
Well, we've mentioned that before, that sometimes you can be almost most of the game with nothing to do, and then you're called into action and you have to perform at the top level. And he's done very well there. It's the strength of Simon's.
Mark of a quality keeper. Penalty corner. Late corner here then for the University of Exeter. Chance for them to get at least a consolation.
Defender's foot there, I think, as it went across.
I've seen a few of these this afternoon. Nicely worked by Exeter down that left-hand side.
So James Sutcliffe on the foot there.
So we're into the final minute here. Beeston 3, University of Exeter 0. Still the scoreline. Simon Hudgwan pacing up and down. He'll want to try and keep the clean sheet.
He will.
Currency of all goalkeepers, of course. And equally determined will be the University of Exeter to spoil his day.
Stephen Lawrence is running number 1 here. He's won't be afraid to get straight in the line of the flicker.
Moved at the top of the circle again.
I think that's good enough. That's,
Whistle's already gone, so it'll be a Beeston hit out here.
That's twice Beeston's number 2 runner has actually reacted to a slip or a move and defended it very well.
Simon Hudgwan.
We've just heard that Simon Hudgwan has been given the player of the match.
It's very good for Simon. It'll cheer him up after his week last week.
That's the life of a goalkeeper, isn't it?
It is.
You can go from hero to zero and back again. Not just over weeks, but almost over minutes.
Well, sometimes the nature of league hockey, I think you can find that the game is not the most exciting, as we've just witnessed in the second half there. First half goals were pretty good. So certainly Beeston will be happy with the points.
Yes, so 3 very important points for Beeston. Not a perfect performance from them by any stretch of the imagination, but on that first half performance they took the game to and then beyond their university opponents today and came out good value. Not the riot of goals that their coaching team would have been hoping for in the second half, but a professional enough job and 3 very important points chalked up to keep them in contention with the leaders in this English Premiership. So we're going to bring you the highlights from the game, but please do join us again on the 27th of October here on BTV, when we'll be bringing you that double header with Beeston playing Surbiton, the ladies starting at 4 o'clock, the men at 6. What should be a full day of wonderful hockey. If you're in the area, where better to watch it than here at the Nottingham Hockey Centre. But if you can't be here in person, we would very much enjoy your company back on BTV. Time to roll those highlights.
Moves off in a quality way, a little bit like Elliot Hybel did. And it's difficult for a side coming into the Premier League to be able to do that straight away.
Indeed it is. The secret is, can you stay there long enough to gain the experience?
So that's that right side. Getting an accurate pass there has led to a turnover, and these are the things that Beeston certainly need to be tidy about.
Good work by the students.
Excellent.
And they were rewarded with another penalty corner. Now, Steve, they need to find one of these and get back in the... James Carson crouched over his stick. The nearer of the two castles. Out it comes. Shot comes in, good save by Hudgwin. Saw it early. Wanting more from their team. They don't want the second half just to drift.
Definitely, they need to make sure that they're just as clinical. And there's an example of, again, an unnecessary turnover, and now there'll probably be a card.
Might be a card. He's on the way already. It's just a question. Long corner. Good umpiring. They're allowing the advantage.
They need movement in the D here. It's very static. They've got the corner, that's fine, but just in terms of trying.
Well, Beeston had early success with the penalty corner, but it hasn't been desperately effective since then. Can they change that little run here?
It's another one wide. The cardinal.